Andrew, you here?
Here.
Sunita?
I'm here.
Howard?
Yes, present.
Eshvar? You?
I'm
I
here.
see.
I'm here.
Oh, thanks, Eshvar. Muyo? Muyo said he might not make it. Nick, you here? All right. Dick?
Yes.
Vince? Is Vince on? Anybody see him?
No, not yet.
Not yet. That's okay. We're going to close session, and Vince was in the investment committee when we did this. Anything else to do, Roberto, before we go into closed session?
No, sir.
Great. Let's fire it up then.
Wait, Drew, you need to call the meeting to order.
Oh, yeah, minor details, huh, Linda? This meeting is hereby called to order. I need a gavel, Linda. All right, this meeting is, thanks, this meeting is called to order. And who's going to send us into the room? We're going to
Michelle.
go. Michelle, great. Go ahead and send us
Yeah.
to paradise. really lit there for a minute. We have a very high function team here, both on the board and staff. When somebody's a Zoom team, so when somebody's talking, if you have a temporal question, go ahead and interrupt the speaker and bring up the question. At the end, if I don't think there's going to be a lot of discussion, I'll just open the floor up. If I think there will be, I'll go round robin through all of our names. We will always go round robin through our names to make sure we know who voted on what. There is a change to the agenda. Item 7.4, there's a meeting date change. The Police and Fire Disability Committee, we just found out we don't have any applications to hear. So that's been canceled. I'm going to need a motion and a vote on waiving sunshine. We had a bunch of committee meetings and so on that happened after the agenda was published. We've got item 4C, we're going to waive sunshine on, discussion action on a resolution. 7.5C from the Joint Personnel Committee on CEO performance, 7.5D on CIO performance. I was in those meetings, and so we actually had that meeting after the agenda came out. Can I have a motion to waive sunshine on those items?
So move, Santos.
Do I have a second?
Second by Sanzari.
I have a motion by Santos and a second by Sanzari. Going around for the vote now. Andrew?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Howard?
Yes.
Eshvar?
Aye.
Muyo, Nick, you're not on, are you? As I said, he let us know he wasn't going to be on. Dick?
Yes.
Vince?
Yes.
I vote aye, and for the record, as I'm reading through this name, just to remind everybody, there would have only been 8 people in this meeting. We have a vacancy for police active member, and Nick's not here, so we've got 7. Our quorum is 5, so we're doing good. Does anybody want to talk about anything on the consent calendar? What's going twice? I'll entertain a motion. Oh, go ahead.
Council, just quickly, I just wanted to publicly, thank Trustee Gardenier. Obviously, we provide you board with the dashboards every meeting. The dashboard information is not only to keep the board apprised, but also stakeholders in general. And he was correct. And this is information that is very valid and important. And unless we keep the information updated, it just doesn't make sense to continue providing information. And so, to his point, we made a point to update. So the latest dashboard that you have before you have the most recent information as it relates specifically to the actual evaluations as of June 30th, 2020. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Roberto. Something else somebody want to move to approve the consent calendar?
So move, Santos.
Do I have a second?
Second, Gardenier.
I have a motion by Santos, second by Gardenier to approve the consent calendar. Going around the room. Andrew?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Howard?
Yes.
Eshvar?
Aye.
Dick?
Santos, yes.
Vince?
Aye.
And this is Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. I guess over to you, Prabhu, for investments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have just one item today. That's the discussion and action on private market spacing plan. Again, just so the full board knows, this was discussed extensively at the IC, and this is being brought to the full board for its approval. But before I get there, just a couple of things. Many of you may have read that David Swenson passed away yesterday. He was a long-term CIO of the Yale Investment Office, and he pioneered what is now known as the endowment model of investing, which has done phenomenally well for Yale and so many other institutions. And it's something that we have tried to follow here at San Jose as well. Of course, we've adapted it to the requirements of public pension plan. I just wanted to mention that. And fiscal year to date returns for the pension plan, this is through May 4th. The pension plan returned 21.52%. so far, and the healthcare has returned 21.36% fiscal year to date. For the month of April, the plan returned 2.35%, and the healthcare trust 2.64%. And of course, again, these are estimates and unaudited numbers. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to turn this over to Brian and Dinesh.
Good morning, and actually to Pravo's point about the effect that Yale has had on institutional investing, the basis of the models that we use for our private market spacing plan came out of work done by Dean Takahashi as part of David Swenson's team. So the impact even continues for us. Can we go to the next page, please, Dinesh? So every year we review the pacing plan. The pacing plan is our guide for how much capital we should deploy across private market strategies over the coming fiscal year. This is the point at which we evaluate what we've done in the past year. We kind of provide some context as to how the market has changed, how the asset allocation has changed, and the impact that has on the plan. And then we certainly would like to provide some guidance on the things that we intend to do over the coming fiscal year. I'll note that because this is a pacing plan that is based on the model I just mentioned, it is just a model. We know it will not be correct. That's why we redo it every year. That's why we don't hold ourselves stringently to the model, but use it as a guide for the things that we would like to accomplish. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So over the past year, and this is through the coming June 30th, so there's an element of expectation to it. We expect to have completed around 15 investments, deploying roughly $126 million of committed capital for police and fire. We did focus, as we said we would, on situations where there were identifiable assets when we were deploying capital, where we believe the expected net of fees returns would justify the risks associated with them. However, some of the other things that we thought would come to fruition as we evaluated the previous fiscal year were at best neutral. A lot of that was resulting from the changes in the market environment. Of course, this time last year, it was not clear how the financial world would respond to the coronavirus and resulting monetary and fiscal stimulus. We now know that liquidity is robust in the world and is in some cases overwhelming the economic fundamentals of businesses, and that certainly impacts private markets as well. Specifically, we can see the massive rebound in the upper left on capital invested in private markets or in IPOs, buyouts, secondary buyouts, and simply what's happened over the last few quarters has been nothing short of spectacular in terms of volume. Largely, that's been driven by public markets, but private markets have similarly followed suit with the number of transactions taking place. The chart at the bottom shows the increase in valuation that has occurred in the public markets via IPOs. I think predominantly those are going to be technology businesses that have an excellent growth story behind them. In the LBO buyout space, while this chart doesn't necessarily show a strong increase in valuation multiples, I think in practice we have seen a slight uptick, certainly less than what exists in public markets, but enough to give us pause when we're evaluating strategies for our private markets program. And of course, the whole basis for this is we're trying to capture an illiquidity premium. And when the world is awash in liquidity, it becomes more challenging to do so. And we have to look towards strategies that are perhaps less in favor or simply have less capital flowing after it. And so we give an example of how we might find those opportunities in the upper right. We show the distinction across time in capital invested between oil and gas exploration and production refining, obviously not a favored sector right now, versus software. And you can see that adjustment that's taken place over time. And some of that, of course, will be ongoing for the future, and some of it will likely reverse at some point. So these are the things that we've taken into consideration over the past year as well. And in execution, you'll see broadly, we've executed mostly in line with the pacing plan. There have been some areas, in particular private debt, where we've deliberately underinvested versus the pacing plan. This is a combination of the opportunity set that we see, but also knowledge that we are overweight these asset classes. And so there's less pressure to deploy the full pacing plan. And we want to be really cautious about how we make additional capital commitments, because these are long-term, in some cases, 10+ year contracts that we're entering into on these investments. And for that reason, we take a long-term forecast. And even though we're approving one-year numbers for commitments, these decisions persist across time. And Dinesh will now go into some of the details behind those.
Thanks, Brian. I'll go into the meat of how we came up with the pacing plan results and end with the recommendation for the pacing plan approval for the next fiscal year. So starting off on this slide with the net asset value forecast, these are essentially the foundation for how a pacing plan is developed. The way we came up with these is starting with the latest market values for the plan. In this case, this was March 31st. And we also layer in the expected rate of return for the plan and information from the actuary on money that's going to come into and out of the plan. So contributions from both the city and employees, and projected distributions to employees as well. So you'll see that there's been a large change since we did the forecast last year. So towards the middle of the page, the police and fire plan is 17% higher than what we had projected last year, which really should be unsurprising because of the increase in public markets and the asset value of the plans. In the lower right, we have the asset class NAV targets, which are essentially taking those new market values and multiplying it by the policy targets for each of the private asset classes. On this slide, we show an attribution of what caused the changes from the prior year. The police and fire plan is at the bottom of this page, and you'll see that it's predominantly due to the changes in NAV forecast. So about $123 million increase, even though there was no net change in the private markets target allocation of 19%. There is a small change in the asset allocation. There was a 1% increase to buyout, 1% decrease to venture. So there's a offsetting $45 million change within those two asset classes. On this slide, we show relative to where we expected to be last year, we thought we would be 1% underweight on private markets. And in reality, we ended up being 1% underweight. This is at the bottom of the page. However, the NAV that we expected to have for private markets is significantly higher than what we had forecast. And this is due to a few factors, primarily within the buyout program. There's been an increase in valuations and slower distributions from the legacy buyout program. And in some of the other asset classes, such as private real estate, private real assets, there's been an acceleration in the capital calls for those underlying funds. Moving to slide 10, this is where we have a chart that looks a little bit intimidating, but I'll try to break it down. So this is a projection for the next 10 years of where we expect the plan to be for private markets versus where we need to be exactly at target. So what you're looking at here, the darker colored shading is where we expect the actual private asset classes to be. And the lighter shading is where we would need to be at to be exactly at the policy target based on the expected NAVs and the asset class targets. So this is layering in the modeling that was done using the pacing plan methodology that Brian had mentioned earlier, completed by Makita and Neuberger Berman for the buyout program, Makita for all the other private asset classes. And for simplicity, we tried to distill it all together into this visual. So what you'll see here is, for example, 9.3% for the buyout program, which is about 2% overweight from the target. But over time, that based on the timing of our commitments, we'll be able to get to that 7% target. So there is also a 0.6% that underweight that I had mentioned to the private markets asset class target, and that's invested in the Russell 3000 proxy. And you'll see over time that does increase somewhat and then also decrease as the years go by. There's a lot of modeling and guesswork that goes into this, but based on the information that we have, and since we're updating this on an annual basis, this is our best estimate of how we expect it to play out. So we're very close to the private markets target. There is that overweight in two asset classes, which are buyout and private credit, mainly because in the past there were higher asset allocation policy targets towards these asset classes. And there's an underweight in other asset classes such as venture capital and private real assets, which are relatively younger asset classes, which are still getting built up. But over time, these will start to reach their targets. This slide shows the liquidity requirements for the private markets program, and police and fire again is at the bottom of the page. So this is an important slide to consider if the private markets program is going to be drawing capital and needing capital from the rest of the plan, or being able to be self-funding where the distributions from investments that funds have realized are coming back and paying for the investments that are being made by future funds. So in this case for police and fire, it's a very mature private markets program, so it's self-funding. So the distributions that we get actually exceed the contributions into the plan. And on slide 12 at the bottom of the page is highlighted in yellow is the pacing plan recommendation. So again, this uses the modeling from Neuberger Berman for the buyout and Makita for the other 4 private asset classes. And before we get to questions, there's one more slide that I wanted to talk about, which is this slide, which is where we talk about how we expect to deploy the commitments. We've done this over the last few years, and going back on memory lane to what we've said in the past, 2 years ago, we had very specific expectations of what types of strategies, how many strategies to deploy within each of the asset classes. That was because the private markets program was still being built out and there were still some gaps that needed to be filled. Last year, we were in the middle of the pandemic, so we were really focused, as Brian mentioned, on specific assets and managing risk. This year, the program has reached a level of maturity where we don't have very specific areas that we feel we need to invest in and fill any gaps. And I'll go through each of these bullet points. So starting with the first one, the maturity that we have means that we have a roster of managers that you'll see that we continue to invest in. An example within the growth real estate portfolio is DRA advisors. And there's also cases where these managers create supplemental investment vehicles, and we always see if those opportunities provide a good chance for us to scale the existing relationship, and if that new strategy makes sense. It's not always the case, but it is in certain instances. So one example from last year was with Lime Rock within the private real assets portfolio. We were invested in the Lime Rock Natural Resources Fund, and when they came out with the Lime Rock New Energy Fund, we also found that attractive and invested in that as well to scale that relationship. The second bullet talks about having a bench of potential replacements for these core funds that we're invested in. We spend a lot of time when we're canvassing the market to understand the nuances between different managers, both on a qualitative and quantitative basis. You'll see these in our recommendations of what are these defining characteristics and why would a certain strategy make sense as a replacement in the future. So this is quite helpful because there might be times where it makes sense to call up one of these replacements, and we have these in place. These are also well defined with the information within our different research management systems like Dynamo software, so easy to access the past history of these. The third bullet talks about some of the different unique opportunities that we can take advantage of around the edges. So there might be cases where there's an opportunity to adjust the portfolio slightly when sized correctly to add some incremental performance on a risk-adjusted basis. So one example within the real estate portfolio where we've primarily invested in sector diversified funds, in 2019, we invested in Exeter Property Group and in a fund that was focused exclusively on the industrial sector. So we've had very positive expectations for this sector and found a vertically integrated sponsor that had a unique advantage to invest in that sector. And lastly, the success of private markets is really driven by information. And we've mentioned this before when we do our annual private markets updates, is that information is one of the advantages that we have in the marketplace, being able to talk to so many market participants and store it within our different research management systems and act on it when needed. We've tried to build a good relationship with the marketplace so that we're able to continue to access that information. And there's a halo effect where even in ways that we hadn't expected, having those positive relationships can create those outcomes that we didn't even expect. So all in all, I would conclude by saying that we're in a steady state right now for private markets, and the pacing plan is something that we'll use as a guide. Won't be something that we're strictly going to make sure that we invest every single dollar. We'll be flexible based on how the private markets portfolio plays out over the next year. And on this slide 12 towards the bottom is where we're looking for approval on the fiscal year 21-22 pacing plan. And we're happy to answer any questions.
Great. Floor is open. Any questions? Going once, going twice. Everyone jump in? Prabhu, you want to vote on this?
Actually, Drew, sorry, I have a question. Oops.
You're good, Howard. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. I thought the analysis was excellent. Just a couple of questions on the pacing plan. What do you see are the risks to achieving the change in, for example, on slide 12, going on private debt from the actual 28 to 1.248? So there are some of the categories see large changes, and I just wanted to understand what the risks might be in achieving that.
Yeah, and I would say we use it as a guide. And in the case of private debt, there is an overweight currently. And what we're focused on is making sure that there's vintage year diversification. We're not forcing any commitments just to try to fulfill this. There might be some cases where some of the managers come back to market in a certain fiscal year versus another. And we want to not limit ourselves to just trying to fill the $48 million that was budgeted last year. And in this case, there's actually a unique possibility that it might be higher than the 28 million. There's one strategy that we're also looking at that may close before June 30th, may close after June 30th. So in this case, we were somewhat conservative in the number that we had expected and projected to be 28. And in the case of private real estate, you'll see 24 million actual versus 30 million projected. In the previous fiscal year, we actually were higher because there were 3 high conviction managers that came to market at the same time. And we didn't want to limit ourselves to losing out on one of those opportunities by not investing in that. So there might be some years where it's slightly higher, slightly lower, and also adjusting to the market environment and how the pace of investments from the existing portfolio is played out.
Okay, all right, great. And then and on your deployment of commitments, you mentioned that there is you ready to dispense. What are examples of that?
I'm sorry, I missed the back end of that question. It cut out.
Oh, the examples of the strong bench are ready to displace incumbents.
Sure. So whenever we're looking to fill any private investment mandate, what we're looking to do is try to cast as wide a net as possible. So speak to as many managers that are pursuing various strategies. And even though there's cases where we're invested in a certain manager, we've reinvested in their future funds, we spend the time to talk to their competitors and understand, is the competitive advantage of that fund being reduced over time? Or are there certain reasons that another one makes sense? So these are cases where we have an existing strategy that is in a particular strategy, and other competitors that pursue similar strategies, not particularly the same, but understanding what are those differences, and for us thinking about when it would make sense to invest in those.
Right. That, Howard, is that good? You want to keep going? You got more questions?
Thank you. No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, Dash and Brian.
Great.
I have a quick question.
Good. So you jump in.
Does this include the co-investments, or this is only managers?
So the values shown here include co-investments and fund commitments. So all investments that have been made.
Thanks.
Thanks. Any other questions?
And Drew, to your earlier question, the answer is yes, we do need approval.
Yes. Oh, thanks for, yeah. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the pacing plan?
So moved, Santos.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Sunita. I have a motion by Santos, second by Sunita. Go around the room. Andrew. Did we lose him? He said he was, Andrew, you there? He said he was on duty. Might get called out. Let me take a, oh, he's there. Andrew, can you hear us? That's fine. Sunita.
Aye, here.
Oh, Andrew's aye. Good. Sunita.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Ishvar.
Aye.
Dick. Vince. Vince, you're on mute. Hello. Let me see if Vince is still on. Vince, can you hear us? Vince, we can't hear you, but that's all right. We have quorum, and Chair Lands, I vote aye. So that's, I think that was 6. Yes. 6 or 7. Hang on, let me count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 ayes. 5 makes quorum.
Vince is
wow.
back on and may wish to vote.
Vince, do you want to vote aye on the pacing plan? Hello? Maybe not. Can't hear you, Vince, but that's right. The motion carried. I guess over to you, Roberto, for new business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just if you bear with me for a couple of minutes, I want to provide you some latest information on your oral update. So the ballots for the 2 police positions, the active member and the retired member, they're going out this week. That will tentatively put the election in the month of June. I'm hoping that the information is completed and city council can either appoint the 2 elected members either at the last meeting in June or the first one in August, just in time for your first meeting in August 21. There's a good chance that both applicants are elected because there were only one application was received for the police active and 1 application was received for the police retiree, and you will probably be happy to know that the retiree application came from former trustee Franco Varo. So good luck. Also wanted to let you know that the city budget is actually working through the budget process. The meetings for approving the budget are going to take place next week, which I will be attending one of those. As you remember, we presented our annual administrative budget request to you boards. I believe it was in the month of March. Both the boards approved them. Our budget information is making its way to the city budget office this week. And I fully expect the city council to approve our request as presented. But I do wanted to mention, because of the pandemic, the city, is having some budget issues, and I discussed this with the chair, and he suggested that I share information with the board. I know we have Council Liaison Pam Foley here this morning. I'm sure she may speak to it during his headquarter report. But as of the fiscal year 21-22, which are the budgets that we are requesting to be approved, the budget office is calculating the cumulative shortfall for the budget year 21-22 around $38.4 million. Obviously, there's still some work to be completed. This is based on estimates, but I believe the $38.4 million shortfall is based on the best estimate. So just wanted to kind of give you a sense of the budget situation for the city. And as things develop, I will certainly keep you posted on that. But that certainly has implications not only for the services that the city provides, but also could have potential implications to the services that we provide at the retirement office in terms of what positions are available to be unfrozen. To that extent, I wanted to share with you that we requested and got 2 positions for the current fiscal year that is ending on June 30th to be unfrozen so that we can pursue a search You may recall at your April meeting that I had shared with you that our former division managers for benefits had resigned the position as of April 15. We are kicking off the process for a search. We will try to go through that process as quickly as possible. And the goal is to have a division manager on board as quickly as we can get it completed. We also requested the unfreezing of a staff specialist position that is needed to do administrative and clerical related work for the benefit function. And so we are going to pursue those searches as well. I also wanted to share with you that we actually, I'm very excited to share with you, we recently made an offer and hire a senior benefit analyst for the pension side of the equation on the benefit function. And she comes to us from CalPERS. So I'm very excited about it. I actually know that her name is Connie. I'm trying to look her last name because I know she was actually listening to the meeting early this morning. She come to us from CalPERS. She recently retired from CalPERS. She was the manager for the CalPERS office, Connie Malloy. Thank you, Barbara. And she's here, if you can see, I think she's saying hello. And she comes with us from CalPERS, and she was the manager for the CalPERS San Jose office. So welcome, Connie, and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In addition to that, we are very shortly working on making an offer to a new benefit analyst, and we will keep you posted for the June meeting. In addition to that, I wanted to share with you that, as you're aware, the RFP for medical advisor services was issued in March. It actually closed at the end of April 30th. I think I shared with you that the closing date was April 15, and I was mistaken. I must have been thinking about taxes at the time, but it was actually April 30th. I'm happy to share with you that we actually received 3 applications. Staff is working through the process right now, and the goal is to come before you at your June meeting with a recommendation for approval for the medical board advisor. Also, I wanted to share with you that the City Council held a study session on pension obligation bond on April 23rd. You may recall that I shared with you an email where I provided you not only the documents that were presented at the study session for the City Council, but also a link for those of you that were available that wanted to attend the meeting, to listen to the meeting. The next meeting by the city on that issue is next week on May 11th, and staff will be looking for direction from the City Council. And depending on that direction, if the direction is that the City Council want to move forward on this process, I wanted to share with you that we are working with Chiron to come before your meeting, before your board for the month in June, to provide you with our own study or educational session on implications on POB and decision making that your board should be considering in the issues of the POB. We certainly will be sharing that information with the city staff, and they're invited. Obviously, it's a public meeting as well, the city council members. And my understanding is that if the city council decides to provide direction to the city staff to move forward on this process, eventually the goal is to have an actual joint meeting between the city council and both boards sometime in the early fall. I think lastly, I wanted to share with you, as you know, we issued the retirement quarterly newsletter in the month of April. The next one is in July. Medical Part B reimbursements are nearly all completed, and the remaining reimbursements for Medical Part B will be completed with the June payroll. We actually had our quarterly staff meeting last month, and as part of that meeting, we actually had a presentation by a healthcare provider for the city on increasing stress, hardiness, on dealing to stress, especially through the pandemic with staff for an hour. I thought it was very helpful. In closing, I wanted to also share with you that we just today are having a soft launch of our Facebook and Twitter accounts. I cannot emphasize enough that it's a soft launch. Actually, I misspoke. The soft launch happened yesterday. And what this means is that we have quietly created and brought them online. We're not actively addressing them until there's more content and resources to be able to fully address them. We do have an external company that is charged with managing it for now and updating these accounts under our direction, and they will be responsible for letting us know so that we can respond to issues in the Facebook and Twitter account. So we plan on having for the July quarterly newsletter some more information on these. But for now, it's a soft launch, so it just started yesterday. Feel free to search for them and add them to your personal Facebook and Twitter accounts if you like. So that's my update, Mr. Chair, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the board. Thank you.
Thanks, Roberto. Anybody got anything for Roberto? Great. I saw Councilwoman Folds on. Pam, you're on, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Great. Over to you, Pam.
Okay, thank you. Roberto stole a lot of my thunder, but I'll go into a little bit more detail. We are in budget session right now, and we have several workshops planned over the next few days, or starting next week, study sessions on various components of the budget. As Roberto mentioned, on May 11th, our next city council meeting, we will be discussing pension obligation bonds. We've already had a couple of study sessions and have directed staff to come back with the proposal on seeking validation so that we could proceed with pension obligation bonds if we decide to do that. So that comes before the council on the 11th, and additionally, part of that will be the council to authorize and recommend creating a funding policy for the funds when and if we are approved for the pension obligation bonds. It's a long process, but we want to be ready to take advantage of it if we decide to move forward. There's a lot of there's some risks, there's some benefits, and we just have to weigh both of those in relation to our funds and making sure that we're treating the funds with our fiduciary responsibility as council members. And then you, of course, have to decide what you're going to do when you get the funds to invest. So that's a whole different animal. And I know that you'll be discussing that in detail. And I'm sure I know we're looking at having a joint session too, should we approve the pension obligation bonds. We are in a budget shortfall of 38.4. It actually, a couple months ago, it was a shortfall of 50 million. So it's improving a little bit by analysis. We do have a lot of federal funds related to the COVID relief package, several COVID relief packages. And if the infrastructure package passes as well, we're hoping that there will be funds in there for the city. But how we balance those, how we apply those, they're one-time money. So we have to make sure that we're not really creating any new programs with it that we won't be able to sustain down the line. So if you have any thoughts about the budget, please let me know either today or offline. We are moving through the process, and input is really welcome and encouraged. We are in the process of analyzing and looking forward to how we're going to continue and enhance our city services in a hybrid post-COVID world. I don't know that we're ever actually going to be in a post-COVID world, but let me put it this way. We will never go back to normal, but what we will be able to do is thrive and hopefully survive and then thrive in the next few years. The economy already looks like it's starting to pick up, as evidenced by businesses not being able to find employees, which is a whole other issue that that is of concern to me. So we are looking at, we had a presentation from city staff on how they're going to shut down the Emergency Operations Center and also create opportunities to build back better, to quote the president. And focusing on our employees, our residents, and our the economy. So that we have beginning plans on how we're going to do that and strategies for that. That was a council priority, that we look how we're going to bring the city back to operate services in a more efficient capacity. One of the things that we've learned through COVID, we've learned a lot of things that exposed a lot of weaknesses and a lot of areas that we need to really spend time and resources in our marginalized communities, the communities highly impacted by COVID deaths and COVID positive testing. And also it's the same communities that have been severely impacted by the economics of businesses shutting down as a result of COVID. So we need to make sure that we prioritize those areas. The city is very much focused on looking at things in an equity lens, but that doesn't mean that our small businesses and other areas of need throughout the city won't receive some sort of assistance either. It just means that priorities are given to certain areas. The other thing is that we have learned through the last year plus that we need to be more efficient in how we deliver services. And through technology, we can be a lot more efficient. So we're looking at a potential hybrid approach to how we come back to City Hall, focusing on making sure that we are able to provide core services to our residents who want to come into City Hall, but then determining on city staffs who needs to be in City Hall, who doesn't need to be, how will we work in a hybrid situation, making sure that we're protecting our employees as well. They've worked really, really hard, I would say across the board, to during the emergency EOC period and continue to work hard. So we need to make sure that we provide mental health services, encourage in really positive ways that they take time off now that we can freely move around. Well, not freely, but move around a little bit more freely. So those are just some of the things we're thinking about at City Hall. And also I want to encourage you, if you haven't yet, to go out and get vaccinated. That's really, really important. When I was fully vaccinated, it feels like freedom. It feels like I can finally go and hug people. And I missed that. I know many people miss the connectivity, and I certainly did. So I would encourage you to go out and get vaccinated, and to encourage those around you, those you love, to get vaccinated too. We are looking forward to moving into the yellow tier, and with all that comes. And at the end of this month, May 20th, I host a town hall meeting every month. This month happens to be a town hall meeting with the mayor, where he will be discussing the budget. So with that, I think I've exceeded my 2 minutes. Or however much time you give me, Drew.
Never. As much as you want, Pam. We represent and work for the pension, but the pension's part of you. So, any questions for Councilwoman Foley?
Mr. Chair, if I may, I don't
Sure.
have any question, but I want to take advantage of some of the comments that Councilmember Foley mentioned on the reopening the city offices for services and the hybrid model. So obviously, I attend the city meetings on these issues, and I've been informed. We are working closely with the city. We will certainly take direction as needed. There are issues that the city and the bargaining unions have to agree on. I can tell you that I don't want to speak for the city, but I suspect, I think as Councilmember Paul indicated, and in our office as well, our overriding factor is the health of our employees and the members that come to visit in terms of the city. Obviously, is the rest of the population that they have to provide services to. So that's in our mind and foremost. So we will certainly keep you apprised on how that process develops and keep you apprised as to when and if there is some sort of a hybrid and at what point we may be considering slowly but surely getting back to the office. I just thank you, Councilmember Foley, for addressing that issue. And I just wanted the board to know that we will certainly keep you posted. We will talk to our staff to see what are the thoughts. And, obviously, as you indicated, Councilmember Foley, we encourage everyone that can and have the ability to get vaccinated to do so as soon as possible. So thank you very much.
Great. Anything else for Councilwoman Foley? Once, going twice. Back to you, Roberto, for 4.C.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So staff asked me, I told them there's no need to have the screen, but if you prefer that we actually use the screen to show either the memos from the city, the letter from Chiron, or the specific resolutions, we can do that. But in a nutshell, this is the discussion and action on the U board approving the fact that, as we explained before, the city is requesting the ability to pre-fund the bulk of the tier 1 contributions for the coming year. And given your board approval last time to provide the full discount on the prepayment based on the assumed rate of return, new calculations needed to be made by Chiron because, as you probably know this, that when they make the presentations, they assume a contributions amount of throughout the year. Obviously, with the pre-funding, there is a discount, so that amount changes, and that's why you have the letter from Chiron as well as the resolutions that were prepared by staff. So with that, again, we stand ready to call into the screen any document that you would like to see. We are happy to answer any questions, and I will encourage you, I will recommend that you then approve the resolutions that actually are stating officially what those contribution rates and amounts are going to be for fiscal year 21-22. Thank you.
Any questions for Roberto? If not, I'll go ahead and make the motion since it's less you reading this off. I move that we approve resolutions 4821, 4822, 4823, and 4824 for contribution rates and amounts for fiscal 21-22. Is there a second for that motion?
Second by Santos.
Thanks, Dick. Let's go around the room. Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Ishvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Vince. I don't hear you, Vince. Vince is, just for the record, Vince is live. Vince is kind of giving up on the mute button.
You can do a thumbs up if you want.
I think it's working now.
There we go. Vince, is that an aye from you?
That is an aye.
Oh, thanks, Vince. That's an aye from Chair Lanza. Thanks, Vince. Back to you, Roberto. 4.2D. 4.D.
Yeah, so I actually will turn this over to Barbara, who will be presenting 4D, and after that 4E as well. And Drew, let me ask you also if your board is willing to, after 4E, to jump to 4FG and then come back to F after the presentation from for the website, if it's okay with the board, but we don't have to answer that right now. So with that, I'll turn it over to Barbara.
Hi, good morning. Barbara Heyman, Deputy Director. This memo is requesting board authorization for the CEO to extend the term of the meddling agreement to December 31st, 2025. The board uses 2 IMEs, independent medical examiners, for disability applicants, Medlink and ExamWorks. In January, the board approved extending the services of ExamWorks to December 31st, 2025, when that contract was expiring. Each of the IMEs vendors have a pool of doctors with different specialties. And this request is asking for the board to approve an extension of the Medlink contract to the same date, December 31st, 2025. The current Medlink contract is due to expire this month. And there's approximately about 100 pending disability applications, which may need an IME report to be completed. At this time, there's no additional budget being requested. The memo is just requesting the board authorization to authorize the CEO to extend the term of the Medlink agreement to December 31st, 2025.
That's pretty straightforward, right, Barbara?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, great. I read it, it looked good to me. I'm on the disability committee. Any discussion by anybody? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Santos.
Do I have a second?
Second, Gardenier.
Motion by Santos, second by Gardenier on item 4D. Going around the room, Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Eshvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Vince.
Aye.
And as Chair Lanza, I agree as well. I vote yes. Over to you, Roberto, 4E.
That actually, Drew, is me as well.
Oh, great. Barbara, over to you.
So as part of the budget for fiscal year 2019-20, the board approved a request for a communication consultant in the amount of $25,000 to meet your goal of increasing communication and engagement with retirees and members. And the CEO negotiated and executed a 1-year agreement with Marty Boyer of Communications Advantage for an amount not to exceed the $25,000. Subsequently, in July 2020, the CEO extended the term of the agreement by 1 year to June 30th, 2021, and increased the maximum compensation payable to $50,000. Now, per board policy, the CEO is authorized to enter into a contract up to $50,000 in the value over the term of a contract. Any contract above this amount requires board approval. And the board is also,
as you can see, and they can also reset it to what the original was. We have translate. This is going to be able to translate the entire page and the entire site to any language that we provide. This is still not, we don't have it yet. This is where it's going to be, and it's going to be able to translate everything, all the text that we have for people who speak a different language. This is the search. We're going to have a search button and an I want to button. So the I want to button is a very special button because this is also a result of things that we saw in other websites. And this will list the top issues people want to do, right? If they want to apply for retirement, they want to calculate a retirement estimate, or they want to enroll in Medicare, they just need to go to this button. It's going to have the top, I would say, what is this, 15 that we think are the most. And we can also change these. We can also, move this to the right, move this to the left, take this off, and add different ones. But at the moment, this is what we think are the top issues that people want to know about. Here we have the member portal login. This is the member direct where you can log in, and this is only taking you to the website, and you can see all your personal information. I mentioned the logo. We have also the contact us information, the mailing address, and hours of operation, email address. Clicking on the email address will open up the person's email client and already automatically fill in the two. to retirement.dept, which is our general email address for the office. These are areas special for each fund, police and fire and fed. These are still being worked on. I can just show you kind of some ideas that we have right now for fed. This is a small menu. We're thinking about a small menu or having this large menu here. But this is still being worked on, and it's not going to look like this once this is finished. This is actually worked on as we speak. Here in this area, and now I want to say one more thing about this. So when I click on, for instance, police and fire, and I go to benefits handbook, or I go to reciprocity, or I go to any of these options, it's going to take me to the specific information for police and fire. So just so we're clear. And we did it this way because we wanted people to, if they identify themselves as police and fire or fed first, they can go through this menu. If they identify themselves as a retiree, they can go through this menu, and in here, they're going to see police and fire, and then fed, and all the options, as well as here. So we wanted to get the people, the members, to the right information as soon as possible, with as few clicks as possible. And no matter if they consider themselves first as a member and then only then as a police and fire, or first as police and fire and then as a member and then they're active or they're inactive, and so forth. In this section, this box here, we're showing the upcoming board meetings. Obviously, this is our current board meeting. The Federated is on the 20th. Clicking on this will, again, this doesn't work right now, but clicking on this will open up the event, the actual event, with the Zoom link and the description and the agenda, everything in one place. So it's going to be very easy for someone to just go in and join the meeting if they choose to. And if they go in and like right now, we have an active meeting, and if this was working and I went into this website right now, it would say, we're still working on the exact wording, but it would say happening now, police and fire. This would be highlighted, and they can just go in. So they would know that it's actually right now live. So we're working on that as well. View all events will take us to the calendar. We can also click here. I'll show you what the calendar looks like. And here's the calendar. As you can see, we only have 2 events right now. The pension check mailed and direct deposit, but we'll also have the board meetings here. We'll also have seminars, any kind of other event that we have. It's all going to be in here. And when someone clicks on, for instance, this is just a demo event. There's nothing in here, but they're going to see a picture right here, the description, and a Zoom link if it exists, if they want. And if we want registration to happen, this event requires registration. They're going to have a registration link here as well. And they can register. They can fill out a form and register, and then we'll, if it's a closed event, we need to know how many people are attending. We can then send them the meeting link. All right, so let me go back, and we'll continue back to the home page. Click on home. And moving forward, this is again the main toolbar, and again, it's not going to look like this, but just so you can see here, I'll scroll down a little bit so you can see some of these options that we're giving them: a change of demographics, Medicare, adding, removing dependents, frequently asked questions, forms. We're really going to have all the information very, very easy to locate. It's going to be very easy to locate. Again, it's not going to look like this. It's going to be a little more compact and concise. But for now, we just wanted to get all the options, all these menus on the table and in the website, and then we can work on restructuring the way it's going to look. Investments, also the same thing, police and fire and fed. The CAFRs, it's all going to be in here. Forms of publications, news and events. If we have any news, we can put it here. Events, like I said, this is going to take us to the calendar and the newsletters, of course. And here we have the About Us, some information about our office, staff, any news and announcements, RFPs, contact us, and public requests, public records requests. So clicking on office staff is going to show, we don't have this ready yet, but it's going to show what I just showed you for the what I showed you the pictures and the bios. That's going to show for the office staff. Same formula, but only for the office. office staff. If we go down, this is a banner. These are banners that we can control. We can have as many as we want. These are just banners that I put in for now, just placeholders. This banner is just some kind of informative. This is the headline. This is some information that we want to give. For instance, open enrollment is happening next month. Or we can also do, create your member direct account, and we give a link. And these pictures, I uploaded them. These are pictures of the city of San Jose, but we can also change them and update them as we see fit. And then, member can just scroll through whatever he wants to, he or she, and what they want to see. In addition, we have this feedback and chat buttons, which, as you can, I don't know if you can see this, but they're always on the page, on the bottom right, no matter if I go down or up, they're always there because we want this to be very, very present. This button will be a feedback button, which means it's going to open up surveys, which they can fill out. The surveys are going to be random. Each time you click this, it's going to be different surveys from some surveys that we create. And this button will be a chat where during business hours, somebody can click on it, and it's going to be a live chat with one of our office personnel. So we're still working on exactly the specifics of how the logistics of this is going to work. Who's going to answer and when, and also outside of business hours, it's going to take messages for us, and then in the morning, the receptionist is going to see it and be able to forward these prompts to whoever needs. But during business hours, it's going to be live chats. If we keep going down, we have some buttons here that we can control. Right now, we just have benefit summary, my account, and meetings, but we're going to change them to be more relevant as the site moves forward in its design. Here we have some news items, featured news. Again, we can decide what news items we want to feature and for how long. And we can also do it dynamically, meaning that we could do a schedule where we have a news item. We want it to be active from this date to this date, and then it's going to disappear from here. So this is very, very nice. Clicking on it is just going to take us to some more information about the news. And pictures, of course, if you have. Here again, featured events. If you have some kind of events or seminars we want people to really see on the front page, you can have them here. Again, for this demo, we just have those two direct deposit and pension check mail events. But we can have more, and this will be obviously a picture of the event, a little thumbnail. When they click on it, they can go in and read more about it. Okay, let me go back to, we are on the website. Okay, and the last but not least, this is again, this is only placeholders. This is a representation of all the menu items that we have at the top. Remember, we have all these different options at the top. Investment policy and CAFR and tax information and benefits. This is all, some people don't feel comfortable or they cannot navigate this way for whatever reason. They find it hard. So for those people, and this you also do for different, for people who are for disabilities and things, you go down here, they have this is a list of all the menus, a simple list of all the menus that we have, all the pages that we have in the site. So somebody can just look at it here, and under this category, board, news information, news and events, active, they can just click on it instead of having to find it inside those menus here. So again, the last but not least, again, this is our, if somebody missed our contact information at the top, we have it here as well, at the bottom. And of course we have, these are the Facebook, as Roberto mentioned earlier, we enabled, or we went online with soft launched Facebook and Twitter, as well as we already have our YouTube page yesterday, but we're working on getting content, on building and creating content for those. But this is where they can click on Facebook, on Twitter, and on the YouTube page. It'll open up. Of course, these icons are going to get larger. They're not going to stay this small. So as you can see, this is still a work in progress. We still have a lot of work to do, but we are really hoping that by next month, we can have most of this ready, if not all. And if we go online and we have most of it ready, very shortly afterwards, we'll have all of it. So we're working to get everything done as soon as possible. And that concludes my presentation. If anybody has any questions, please let me know.
Floor is open. That's impressive. That's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot of information, but we really want people to, because a lot of people ask us, what's your address? When are you open? We want it to be really out there. So this part of it will always be constant in all of the pages. So they always have the navigation, but you can never get lost, because if you get lost, you only go to the top and you see everything. You can get to anywhere you want from here.
I think this is great. It's very interesting, and I'm sure Dick would have more comments. It's very interesting, even the decade I've been here, and I kind of get this because I was sort of like the first person, freshman in physics with a slide rule. We didn't have calculators yet, right, in the 70s. And we've even seen in the last decade more and more of our retirees being a lot more computer savvy, right? Roberto's nodding his head down. So I think this is just about the right time and the right approach to intersect that. Right. So floor is open. Go ahead, staff too. Barbara, Roberto, if you want to say anything, go ahead.
No, I just want to, I'll let Barbara and Erin to mention if they have any other comments. But again, I can't emphasize enough the hard work of the staff, which has really led this effort by Erin and Barbara, but it really includes everyone at the office and the different divisions, which work diligently with Erin and Barbara on providing what is needed and the timing and everything else. I also wanted to mention, as you know, our quarterly newsletters are actually issued the first month of the quarter. So the next newsletter is in July, and a feature article will be about the website. So we will certainly have that feature article on the newsletter for July about the website, which is just going to be a couple of weeks old by the time the newsletter hits all the members. And again, I think another comment is to Aaron's point, this is a work in progress, not only from the standpoint that there's still a few features that need to be updated or mounted into the application, but as we move day in and day out, we will always not only have to make sure that information is updated, but whatever fixes or upgrades that we need to provide or changes to make it more user-friendly, we will certainly will keep that in mind. That's part of the feedback that we are looking for from our members. So again, when the June meetings come around, I will update you on where we stand on this issue. And once this website is available, I encourage all of you to access the website and leave us comments either through the feedback or reach out to us directly and let us know what you think. So again, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Dick, jump in.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I appreciate it. I know both chairs, Vince and yourself, worked on these things, and Roberto and staff. This is a benefit for everybody, and make sure the Retiree Association knows that, and now will also be making communication to them for all our members. So thank you very much.
Could I just mention one more thing that I kind of forgot before? This is, what I showed you is the front end, right? I wanted to also say two things. We also, the back end of it, meaning the behind the scenes, we're going to be able, this speaks to what Roberto mentioned before, keeping this website updated is going to be much, much, much easier than before. It's going to be easier because it's a whole new system. I think the current website is extremely old, and we now have really the ability to control many of these menus and update them at our will. We don't need anybody else to do it for us. We can do it ourselves. That's one point I wanted to make. The other point I wanted to make is that with this website, we also will get analytics. And analytics is very important because you want to know who's going to what page. You want to have graphs and statistics and know what are the most common pages, what are the most used, what are the most asked for. And then you can make decisions, business decisions based on that. And at the moment, we don't have that. So it's all nice and good, and it looks all nice to have the front end be very useful, but also the back end where we can generate reports and provide to the boards and to Roberto what's the information that's most asked for, what link is always requested the most, and this is something that we're going to have as well. So I want to mention those things.
Great. Anything else? We don't need to vote on this, right? This is just work in progress.
That is correct. It's just to give you an update, yes.
Great. I think that I'm the last item on this part of the agenda, right, Roberto?
There are two items. Actually, we skipped the committee assignments, which I think you have to get back to it now, and then
go ahead.
your presentation.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Roberto. Back to you for assignments. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. So from time to time, we bring forward to your board committee assignments. Trustee Sunseri has to bow out of the investment committee at this time. So that was the main reason we're bringing this item back. So in there, you can see who's assigned to the different committees. But obviously, if we're going to move Vince out of the investment committee, that will create vacancy, which means somebody else have to join that committee, which may create a vacancy in another committee. So that's why all committees are there before you. Not to mention that you will have most likely 2 new trustees joining you in the August. So you're dealing with this today, but keep in mind, you may have to come back on the August time or September and do it all over again. So with that, I'll turn it over to our chair, Joe Lanza.
So do we any action on this, Roberto?
Yeah, I mean, we need to, your board needs to recommend a new member to the investment committee.
Okay.
That needs to be approved. And then of course, that works. If Vince then is willing, which I can see he's very excited. If he's willing to join another committee, then he can let us know, and he can perhaps join another committee if he's able to do so. So, I leave it up to your board to decide what kind of changes you may have to pursue today.
Okay, I know I'd spoken with Eshvar and Prabhu earlier. Eshvar, do you want to recommend somebody this meeting, or do you want to wait till next meeting? What would you like to do, Eshvar?
Yeah, can we wait till the next meeting?
Yeah, I think so too. I know from my chats with you and Peru, we're in process on this. Yeah, I think, right, there's no investment committee meeting before the next board meeting, is there?
I don't know. Prabhu, you know?
I don't think so.
No, not before the next board meeting.
Great. Yeah, you got plenty of time, Eshvar. Yeah, let's keep talking in the background about what you want to do on that. That's okay, right, Roberto? That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we can deal with this at the June meeting. Yes.
When do you think New Active and Vado are going to come on? What's your guess?
My guess is the first meeting for August. So I guess even an option would be to then bring this back for the August meeting. If there is an IC meeting in June, Vince doesn't have to join the meeting. 3 is a quorum, so you can have the meeting without Vince. It needs to be. And then if you just want to deal with this one time, it may make more sense to bring him back for the August meeting when you have your 2 new trustees.
That's a good idea, Roberto. We have our monthly meetings. Let's you and I talk about that at the monthly meeting. That might make sense. Just so you new directors know, whenever we swap or get a new member, it's a bit of musical chairs, as Roberto knows. And Roberto's probably smart for saying, "Hey, if we're going to do musical chairs, let's do it all at once." And I think that's wise, Roberto. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Drew, can I jump in here?
Yeah, please, Vince.
I just need to ask, even if you're not ready to make a decision to decide who will replace me, I do need to be removed from that committee.
Good. Harvey, Roberto, do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, you can vote on removing trustee Sunseri from the committee and make a decision on who's going to join the committee at a later time. Staff is also letting me know, as you can see there, audit risk committee the third slot is vacant, I've been told that it may be helpful if we can name someone to that committee. Again, if you do not, we'll just name that person at your next meeting. That you're able to do that. The reason it may be helpful to name someone for the audit risk committee now is because having two members makes it tougher to have an actual meeting. In the event that one of the trustees is not available, then you won't have a quorum. That's all.
Vince, can I trouble you to jump over to audit?
That'd be fine. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, it's actually it's a fun committee, and I know I've sat through some of the meetings. Howard's doing a great job. I will make the motion.
Mr. Chairman,
yes, please, Harvey.
Mr. Sanzeri can simply resign from the investment committee. He doesn't have to be voted off the island.
Okay. So let me move that we graciously accept the resignation from the investment committee of Mr. Sanzeri, and we'd like to appoint him to the audit risk committee. Is that okay, Vince?
Yes, that'll be fine. And in
Is there
terms
a
of this
second?
being kind of enjoyable and fun, Drew, that might be more like I'm going to a dentist appointment.
Oh, come on. With Howard, everything's fun.
But just for a cleanup, Vince, that's all.
There's
Yeah.
a second.
There's a second from Santos. Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita. Sunita?
Oh, aye.
Okay,
Can you hear
that's
me?
good. Howard?
Yes.
You better live up to your reputation as running a fun audit committee. I ran it for 2 years, and I was told it was fun. So maybe that's just so that I keep the meeting short. Eshvar.
Aye.
Dick, rather.
Yes.
Vince.
Aye.
And Chair Lanza, I vote aye. Back to you, Roberto. I'm ready to do my thing once you're done.
I think our part is done. Drew, this is on you. Discussion on past as prologue project evaluation of historical actuarial and capital markets assumptions to inform future funding determinations. I'll turn it over to you, Chair, who is looking forward to making this presentation. Drew?
Yeah. Hey, Linda, can I drive? Just because there's some. Okay, here we go. Linda, can you let me do screen sharing, or whoever, Michelle, who's ever running this? There we go. Thank you, ladies.
Yes.
Yep, I think I got it. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Oh, hang on. Thanks to Harvey, who wittily gave us a title for this, the Past is Prologue Project. So Vince and I have been on the board now for probably a decade, maybe you, Vince, a little bit longer than that. And there was a long looping project that we started, gosh, back in 2013 or 14 on looking at other systems, looking deeply into what's the best way to set the discount rate. And we ended up with sort of a four-step process. I started this, and then Vince wrapped it up with the whole thing on risk, which you guys keep seeing. And I know I've talked to a number of other systems, and I think this is about as good as any system can do. And just to refresh your memory, and then I'll go back to the previous slide, look, let's understand what's the level of risk for San Jose. You know, our actuaries keep saying, you guys are a little more risky. You know, you've got different ratios of actives to retireds and so on. And then, you know, if you can set a risk for the city, Veris and Makita can translate that with Prabhu and his staff into an asset mix that hopefully will deliver that risk consistently or less risk. Then you can sort of estimate based on that what you're going to return. And then you set the discount rate, generally speaking, as we've seen, we've all been on the board long enough to go through the cycle, to that level. Okay. Well, we continue to study that. We've now done that for assets, and we always said at some point we come back and do it for liabilities as well. Assets are pretty easy. I mean, we've got experts on our board in assets, right? Sunita, Vince, Eshvar, you guys are experts in equities and bonds and assets. So we're ready to now finally loop in the liability mix. And I thought I'd start chairman next year, and this would have started right in January, but I got a little bit of a battlefield promotion while Andrew and I switched roles. So that's why it's taken me a couple of months to get this fired up. So we continue. So what is the best way to set the discount rate? Okay, good question, right? It is sort of our core job. So look, if you'd think all things being equal, if we set the discount rate with skill and get lucky, luck is always out there, right? Markets crash like 2008. If we do it right, we should be 100% funded. That's the goal of the effort. Our plan is not 100% funded, and not uniquely our plan. Most public pension plans aren't, which means either, how many possibilities are there? Look, we either didn't set the discount rate right, that happens, we know that, or we failed to meet the discount rate we set, and that could be skill or luck, or we just got unlucky. That the crash 2008 is a good example. We're still paying for that, or some combination. Look, we all know the answer to the question of why aren't we 100% funded is complicated, and the actual truth is, it turns out, when you ask Roberto or me or Vince, why aren't you 100% funded? The answer is not obvious. We all know, well, we didn't get inflation right, but have we generally over 20 or 30 years hit our numbers? Turns out nobody knows, right? And that's a noble thing. It takes work to figure it out. Look, there may or may not be something to be learned by going back and looking at our history to see if there's a smarter way to set our discount rate. And the only way we'll know is to try to do it. And we may or may not be able to do it. It's a big task. So what we've added here is what the actuaries call a margin for adverse deviation. That's a fudge factor. We may learn when we look at our history, we always deliver 50 basis points below what we forecast. We've done that for 30 years. Why? Oh, because, I don't know why, we'll go find out. And we may find out, we've historically underestimated our liabilities year after year after year because of something, I don't know, we're gonna go find out. And if it turns out we've always historically underestimated our liabilities, and we can figure out why, then we can say, are we still doing that? If so, maybe we ought to put that into our discount rate. Vince had a great thing he said earlier in the week, I think it was Wisconsin, where he said, Drew, they've broken up into looking at what happens with the different tiers with actives and retireds, right? And it turns out they have different, when you actually analyze them, they have different physics. So we're going to do this, I think, unless the board tells me this is crazy. All right, so you guys know me, I'm kind of a bit of a knucklehead. I always ask, well, where are we in space and time, right? How did we get here? Look, public pensions used to be pay as you go, right? We didn't sit on $4 billion. Hey, somebody retires. Hey, we're the city. We're going to keep, taking some of our tax dollars and paying your retirement benefits. That was a recipe for disaster in the private world as well as the public world. So starting about 50 or 60 years ago, I went to, hey, you know what? Every time you give a guy a paycheck, why don't you stick a little money in the system, right? And in fact, the whole reason why we stick it into equities, they used to stick it into bonds, and somebody figured out, in fact, it was funny, you were mentioning Prabhu, the guy from Yale, who did that in the university world, said, maybe we ought to stick this in some part of it and stuff slightly riskier and get more money. So starting 50, 60 years ago, that put our pension system deep into the weeds of forecasting. Because if I take some money out of a paycheck from a guy who's 23 years old, I could easily be having to write him a retirement check when he's, sort of my age, Dick's age, right? He's 70, 50 years later. So I got to manage that money for 50 years today. That's forecasting. We put it into our mission statement. That's what invest expense in a prudent and timely manner. Timely is code for forecasting. Okay. So how can we do the best we can at forecasting, right? That's fudge factors and everything else. So is there anything we can learn from the past? How did we forecast? How accurate were we? And my comment would be, we're asked to manage $4 billion, which means you're asked to manage the forecast of $4 billion. And you can't manage what you can't measure. And if somebody walked up to anybody in the system or the board today and said, hey, what happened that you're 80% funded? I don't think anybody can answer that question. We could say what the factors were. Well, we got inflation wrong. But how much of it was due to that and everything else? Look, the honest truth is we don't know. And I've asked Harvey, I'm not sure most systems, I'm not sure any system knows the answer to these questions, and we should, because we can't manage what we can't measure. And the best way to measure something on forecasting is look at what you forecast and what happened. What have we done in the past and how can we do it better? So the good news is we already know the parameters, right? It was that classic, I talked to Chiron on Tuesday and I pulled this slide up and they just chuckled. Ann and Bill were like, oh God, you're not going back to this, but they really like this. So it turns out this is the pension system. We got a big bucket of money here and we pay out benefits and expenses and we pour in more money from contributions and hopefully from investment earnings, right? And investment earnings, when they happen, are called investment earnings. And when we forecast them, they're called discount rate. And we've got these other things we talk about every year, like inflation, we have to set that, and mortality, and the actuaries forecast salary increases with our help, and they actually handle retirements. Turns out, I mean, you learn something new every day. I never knew this before. I always thought they had like a statistical model. But Bill and Ann said, I never knew this. They actually have in their system every member of our plan. Each of our active members, right? Andrew, you are an element in their model. And they look at you and they say, well, when did he join? When's he likely to retire? You know, what level did he rise to? Therefore, what has he earned in trying to realize that? So that's good news, by the way. Right, because that makes a model easy to tweak. So it's just that simple, but just that hard. So if you think about it, there are 10 variables in here, and each variable has multiple expressions, right? So when we talk about employer contributions, well, we see those charts, right? We give them to the city, right? We give them to Pam to take to the mayor and the council. We forecast employer contributions, and then we actually make the employer contribution. So there is a forecast of that number and an actual of that number. In any given year, we're all the way back to 1961 or 2 when this system got started, there's an actual number for this. And in every year, there's many future numbers of this. So we could go back to when, say, Vince and I joined the board in 2011, 2012, and say, in 2011, the city gave 100 million in employer contributions. We could also say, in 2011, the actuaries forecasted in 2015, it would be 120 million. In 2016, it'd be 130 million. We've all seen those charts. These are just numbers. There are a lot of numbers, but there aren't that many flavors. There's 10 flavors of numbers because the system got started 60 years ago. There's 60 actual numbers. And there's a couple of thousand for each of these variables forecast numbers. That may sound daunting, but Google deals with quadrillions of numbers every second of every day. Visa does something like 10,000 transactions a second, the Visa card network. So this is, while daunting perhaps as board, a trivial problem for the Silicon Valley, right? So, you know, you think about what are the big numbers that really move us? Well, the big numbers are discount rate earnings, right? And what are we paying out in benefits? Those are two big in and out numbers. The actual pension fund, the actual $4 billion in assets, a big number too. Plan expenses is what Roberto presents every year. It's not that much. It's what do we pay for staff and to keep the doors open. And it's a very stable number. It doesn't fluctuate a lot. Maybe we hire somebody, maybe somebody retires from, you know, our staff. And so it's just like in the picture. So this is the big pipe out, right? And this is the big pipe in, right? So these two mostly forecast that. We've got this stuff, which also doesn't fluctuate too much. Inflation does, but salary, we're not going to suddenly double everybody's salary, and all of a sudden everybody's not going to retire. And we hope, as Dick always points out, that mortality goes up, but not by a lot, right? It can't, I'm saying, because of medical improvements come slowly. And then, of course, these are the sort of the outputs. So if we forecast bad earnings, we may have to call for more in contributions. So I'm suggesting to the board, and I guess I'm looking for your verbal approval. I don't think we don't have a proposed budget yet, but I don't want to continue on this unless the board supports us doing this. So the questions are obviously, can we do all this, put it together? Ann and Bill say, yeah. Barbara says, yeah, sure. Prabhu and Makita say, yeah. Now we don't know. As Barbara says, she got people looking up 1965 CAFRs, right? So that's kind of tricky. So if we can do this, then we can say, okay, so in 1995, in 2011, when Vince and I joined board, what did we forecast would happen in 2019 and 2020, right? And what assumptions, all those things we talked, did we base that on? And then we can say, well, what actually happened? In an ideal world, we're 100% funded. In an ideal world, some years are good, some years are bad, but overall it balances out. So we know that didn't happen because we're not 100% funded, right? So what actually happened, we already know, but then to really dig in and say, so why did that happen? Why are we 80% funded? And we talked about this, I think, about 6 months ago. And this classic Silicon Valley, a company goes belly up. Well, how many of those things were due to our things and how many were outside? So in 2008, right, some of that was us maybe being in the real estate market. That's our decision. But some was the real estate crash, and we didn't cause that, right? And there's always luck versus skill, right? So skill is, did we pick a good portfolio? Luck is, was that a good portfolio, right? And then we have common versus uncommon. Everybody missed inflation, right? We might have troubles in venture capital and private equity. Most plans aren't in that. And then, of course, then the question is, great, we figured out why everything went wrong. Is there anything to be learned from that we should do differently in the future? So 10 years from now, we're 100% funded, right? So why bother? So we can forecast better next time, right? But also so we can select our discount rate, which is the signal we send to the city and to our members about our plan and how healthy we are. So that's a lot of me bloviating. What's a concrete plan that I'd love to ask the board's support in doing? So Barbara's already started, Prabhu's already started, Chiron's already started. Can we gather data? I've asked for data back to inception, back to the early 1960s. Barbara says, sure, good news, and Barbara's already sent me a bunch of stuff. Good news, sure, we have the annual reports back to then, and a lot of what you're looking for is in there. And I keep, poor Barbara, I know you're on this call, keep pestering, can I get a little more, Barbara? Can I get a little more? And Barbara keeps saying, yeah, sure, right. So can we actually then go back and get, in any year, say in 1980, what did we forecast? That's harder, because a lot of those forecasts are sitting in a dusty 1980 40-year-old actuarial report that we may not have. And my call with Bill and Ann was, can you, if you don't have the actual actuarial report, can you kind of suss out what was in it? Bill and Ann, God bless them, both said, yeah, it won't be perfect, but yeah, I think, like for instance, Bill and Ann said, look, through most actuaries use the same mortality number. And we go back and look at what the mortality number was in 1980. You guys probably use that, and if you didn't, you weren't off by much. So then we can really, once we have all this data, then we ask the question, the data is what did we forecast would happen? And the data is what actually happened. And we can say, all right, And the second we do that, we can say for any given year, what percent of our miss was due to performance, actual returns, right? What percent of our miss was due to getting inflation wrong, right? What percent of our miss was due to mortality? We can answer that question. We can't answer that question today. That question gets answered just by gathering all the data, right? That's interesting. We can't do that today. That's just elbow grease, and most of the elbow grease by Bill and Ann at Chiron. Then we can say, is there anything to learn from that? You know, it may be that most of the reason why all these plans are underfunded is because everybody got inflation wrong. I mean, I bought my first house, kids, in 1987. My first mortgage was 16%. It went down very, very quickly. Those of you that were alive in the 1980s, remember inflation was running 18, 19%. It was scary. My salary raises every year were 20%. Wish I get that today. So then you're right, anything to learn, and then can we do something, should we do something differently, right? So should we put in some adverse deviation, a fudge factor for assets based on what we learned? Should we put in a fudge factor for liabilities based on what we learned? And then back to that first chart, which I won't go back to, and then can we have an offsite like Vince did that last great offsite on risk? Can we have an offsite where we actually figure out how to implement this? Right? So now diving down into the first steps of this, right? So can we gather this? Should we, and we don't have an estimate from Chiron, but if the board says, yeah, let's do this, the next month or two, Chiron will come back and say, yeah, it'll take 100 hours of Bill's time and 100 hours of Ann's time, and you guys pay for it. So it's 10 variables, right? And the actuals Barbara can pull out, right? And Chiron knows probably what they were too. And the forecasts how far back can we go, right? I'm trying to go back all the way to 1960. It turns out everybody said 25 years is easy. We can go back to 95. I don't think it's that much harder to go farther back. And this is where data no longer exists, estimate what it was, that's hard on liabilities, right? So I'd like, if the board says we can do this, I'd like probably by August or September to actually answer the first question, which is, all right, what'd you forecast? What actually happened? Of these 10 variables, which ones contributed the most to the miss? So this is kind of my swan song on the board as chairman. Once this is done and it's implemented, I will probably step down from the board. That's my sneaky little way of trying to get you all to support this. So floor is open. I know it's a bit screwy, but go ahead and ask away. I wowed you, didn't I?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm very impressed. I appreciate it, and I would support this all the way. Dick Santos.
Thanks, Dick. Well, Dick, it may turn out, we were joking about this, that we may actually kind of use, Dick, what year did you join the fire department?
I came on in 1968.
Yeah. So Dick, it may turn out thank you for your support. We may actually use you as a bit of a sort of a test case, you know? We could actually, I hope Dick go back and say, in Dick's first year of employment, what did we forecast for Dick? And you know.
Yeah, Drew, there was other things. I remember years ago when I was first on the board in 1987, I would look back because we had some issues and I could go back to 1955 and so on. But no matter what, when you go back and you gather information, you know, if you learn from history, you have a better future.
I think that's right, Dick. And I think the interesting thing, Dick, is you've lived that history. Not all of it, but a good portion of it.
I sure have, and I've been very blessed, and I really appreciate what you're doing because it's going to be helpful.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know, the good news, Dick, is even if it doesn't help us change anything, I think it'll make us wiser, and wisdom is always a good thing. Any other questions? Anything from the board? I guess I'd say if anybody doesn't do this, jump in. Yeah, go ahead.
Just let me add one comment here on your 10 variables that I think will be very important as you go through this process to keep in mind. Those 10 variables that you talk about, in my view, are actually symptoms of something else. They're not the causes. And what I want to suggest to you is that in the system, in your water tank, this whole system we have, these are symptoms of unconscious biases that have influenced the system. And I hope that we can suss out those biases as part of this analysis. There are biases that drive those variables. Plan sponsors over time, for example, are biased in favor of increasing benefits and not having to pay for them, or to pay for them on somebody else's watch many years later. That's a bias of the plan sponsors. And so they increase benefits without a good view as to what the costs may be. The actuaries have biases in how they make assumptions. They're biased against large changes over time. They're always skating behind the puck on mortality and increase and inflation. There's also a built-in unconscious bias in the system that tells us that for some reason that we must use the same rate to discount liabilities as we use to assume the growth of our assets. Why is that? Why is the discount rate to present value for projected pension liabilities? What does that have anything to do with what our portfolio will grow at as projected by the capital markets projections of our experts? So there are all these built-in biases that influence the system and lead to those 10 variables that you put up there. And so I'm hoping that we won't stop at what the variables have been and where we perhaps have not projected them accurately, but the reason why we don't project them accurately, which is more important in terms of going forward, to be careful as we go forward to question the validity of those biases.
Yeah, so yeah, you brought this up multiple times, and I'm 100% certain you're right. When you think a bicycle is a motorcycle, you don't ride it right. Oh, sorry, you don't mean analogies, Harvey. Yeah, no, that's deeply. Always leave it to Harvey to drop something deeper in front, and that's right. So that's a good point, Harvey. So even then, when we're done, then we get to pause and say, or is the whole thing kind of screwed up? And it probably is, right? You sent that great. Harvey sent.
Vince, I've got some.
Go ahead, Vince. Jump in, Vince.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I know that you'd like to use this as an offsite, so I don't want to go too deep in this conversation here. But I do think it would be valuable for us to think about these variables that you're pointing out in terms of the things that we can control and the things that we don't have any control over at all. Harvey's hitting on some of the things that I had in mind. And if you were to think about some of the liabilities and how that has impacted the plan over time, changing benefits was an obvious one that's been stated so far, but also then making those benefits retroactive immediately creates a hole that you're trying to dig out of. Secondly, and you recall this from a decade ago when we joined this board, there was something called the SRBR. And when the plan had excess returns, it became a 13th paycheck. That was another benefit that made it difficult for the assets to grow fast enough to meet the liabilities. So those are some really, really important variables. And some of those things, this board actually has absolutely zero control over those factors. So even if you nail down what those variables are and how they're impacting the plan, is there anything we can do about it? What we really should be focusing on is what we have most control over. And that's why in my response to you and looking at the Wisconsin plan, I'm not trying to ignore liabilities, but I am looking at how we look at the asset side in relationship to our membership. And in their plan, what was quite interesting is how they differentiate and create, in essence, two different discount rates, one for their active members and one for their retirees. And it makes a lot of sense when you start to look at it that way. And what's fascinating over the last decade is how those numbers have completely flipped. The percentages of active is now represented the percentage of retirees. And that impact in how you might look at expected returns because of how you would invest money for those two different groups has a huge impact on the plan. And as we know, we are keeping 5% of plan assets in this cash immunized portfolio because we have so many retirees and we need that liquidity. So I don't want to discount the work you're trying to do on the liability side, but I do think looking at the assumed return on the asset side in a different manner, bringing in some of the variabilities of our membership is really, really helpful. And I think by far, probably the most significant thing we talk about is inflation in COLA. And again, another thing we have absolutely zero control over with respect to the COLA.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chair,
it's very interesting. I'm calling you in just a second, Roberto. You're up next. It's very interesting, and I feel the same way you and Harvey do. This is almost a living thing. You both said this is very holistic, almost like an ecosystem. It's not just us, it's the actuaries. As you say, Vince, it's not just the variables. Who controls the variables? What controls the variables? And it's not just those 10 variables, it's all the stuff around the edges. I'm an engineer by training, so my gut tells me to start with what we know and go on from there. And the truth is, we don't even know yet, right? I have only in the last week or two gotten our forecast for inflation going back that far. Real inflation, you can look up on the internet. Go ahead, Roberto, jump in.
Thank you, Drew. So let me just start by thanking you for doing this work. Obviously, your engagement. I have said this many times before. That's half the battle, and the engagement of these two boards is second to none in my experience working with boards across the state. So, we have to be thankful for that. I do want to, first of all, as a matter of, you asked for an approval, and since the item description does not call for action, I think what you may want to ask you boys to provide you direction. Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, thank you. It's should we bring this back for approval in a month or two? Thank you for that clarification.
Now, in terms of the comments by Harvey and Trustee Sanseri, I think they are both absolutely right. First, Harvey on the biases by all the different groups that are involved. Whether it's employer or whether it's the actuary and everything else. And I think also in terms of Trustee Sanseri, I think I understand where you're coming from, Drew, but I there's not much we can do from the liability side. Actually, I do believe the actuaries, they do a great job. They may be skating behind the puck because, they may like hockey more than anything else. But on the liability side, I think they do an excellent job. Now, we can't forget that obviously the benefits across the state, including San Jose, increased considerably in the late 1990s. So there's no way in 95 you could assume, that increase was going to take place. But aside from that, I think they do a decent job on the assumptions. Sure, they are lagging a little bit behind. I think the biggest question is on the investment side, as Vince indicated, is the one that your board have more control over. So I guess my comment would be number one, that if there's going to be any work done, it will be sort of more geared toward the investment side. But second, I get the concept or the reason to going back to the 60s. I know staff provided you information and they look at the CAFRs, but as you indicated, you done some work with Chiron already from 1995. My gut feeling is that going from 1995 forward versus going back to the 1960s is not going to make much of a difference. I'm not sure what other 30 years of data will provide you, what kind of information will give you that we don't get just by starting in 95. I will argue that the data that you get from 95 forward, it is most likely probably more accurate than going back to the 60s. You're going to be asking Chiron, I mean, as it is, I think that they're a little, they, like any other actor, they may be a little uneasy of dealing with data that it was not put together under their watch, right? Because they came in after 2010. Going back to the 60s is going to probably make them feel a little more uneasy about it. I think you can ask, but I think we will have to do a quick cost effective analysis on whether it makes sense going back to the 60s, how much work would that entail, and what will be the return on that additional cost before we move forward. I think that will make sense.
I think that's a good suggestion. One thing I think you and I even talked to this a month or two back, Roberto, is we're all sort of guessing that inflation is a big part of this story. And if that turns out to be true, part of the reason I want to go back that far was to capture that period from the late 70s, to the early 90s, when inflation did this weird thing when it went way up, which I think has led to why it's been way down, because the federal banks around the world got so panicked. So yeah, you're probably right, Roberto. Maybe we'll do this, and that's good. Anybody else want to jump in? I'm not hearing no. If anybody thinks it's a stupid idea, speak now.
I do also want to. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Howard.
Oh, I think this is a wonderful idea. Like a lot of things in technology and in life now, a lot of things are being looked at from a data analytics point of view. And that's something that we're trying to do in our venture fund as well, is look back and try to forecast. The one thing I think of, and you mentioned engineering, one thing I think of is in terms of the variables, you have variables, but they may not all be independent. If you think about equations, some of them relate to others. And I think it goes back to a little bit of the bias, and it maybe goes back to how some of them may actually be linked. So it'll be interesting to sort of try to unpack and try to see how things went and how we can forecast better. And my other question is, are you going to be the one that is going to be the one managing the whole process? I mean, this could be a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't know yet. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going, Howard. Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's it. And that was it. It was just in terms of how this whole project will be managed.
Yeah, I don't know yet. As far as said, the investment committee's happy to help out. Chiron said they're happy to help out. Roberto and Barbara and Prabhu said they're happy to help out. McKee is happy to help out. So maybe August or September something, we can parcel all this out. This is the first look the board's had at this. So I don't know. Probably maybe bring it back, Roberto. Maybe Roberto and I talk about this every month. Maybe bring it back at the August meeting, Roberto, and maybe we'll know enough by then. 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk to Chiron about the scope, assuming the board gives you direction today, and we can bring that back and we can share with the board.
Yeah. I think that's good. I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody quite knows. The interesting part of this, I asked Harvey, who else has done this? He sent me a great deck. It was Orange County, I think, Harvey, that Harvey sent me this deck, and I thought, well, we're going to do more than that. And I think, Harvey's one of our guys that whatever the system's doing, I think when we do this, I don't think any system's ever done this before, or at least certainly not at this level of detail. So that means we're kind of making it up as we go. It'll be
Well, sure,
fun.
thank
I
you.
brought some fun. Howard, it'll be more fun than your audit committee.
Drew, if I may, I do want to, I think what you're looking for, and I know I don't remember where you have the slide of the 10 particular issues that you raised, that you want information. But I don't want the public in general that are watching the meeting, or you, the trustees that are here this morning, to think that every year that there's a presentation by Chiron, is for the last 2 years, right? They have provided a one slide since they joined your board in 2011 on the reasoning for the increase and therefore the impact on the funding ratio,
right,
of the increase in the funded liability. So I just don't want people to think, or your board to think, that there hasn't been any kind of work related to this. I mean, it may not be to the detail that you have in here, but it certainly, it assigned increases in unfunded to investment gain and losses, to assumption changes, specifically to the discount rate, and so a couple of other factors. So that is actually done and especially provided in the presentation over the last couple of years. They do that, and just as a matter of basis to understand where we're coming from. When you both joined the board, Vince and Drew, back in 2011, I believe the pension funding ratio for police and fire was about 80% in 2010, and it went up to about 83, 84% on an actual basis in 11. And I joined in 2013, it was in the high 70s. So it's been pretty consistent. I mean, it has continued, obviously, going down. Mostly, I would say the net result over the last 8 years as I've been with you is the decrease on the assumed rate of return. As you know, 25 basis decrease in the assumed rate of return equals about an increase. Everything else equal of about $150 million in funded liability. But you're still in the mid to almost mid, but low to mid 70%. Unlike, obviously, your sister Federated, which when I came in was in the low to mid 60s, that is now into low 50s. If Prabhu and his staff keeps up with the return so far until June 30th, then obviously, there's going to be an increase in that funding ratio for June 30th, 2021. But I guess my point here, after everything is said and done, is that some of this information, not to the detail that you have it here, Harvey, I mean, Drew, is somewhat provided by Chiron, at least over the last few years as I joined the system, not prior to that, but I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I've tried Chiron 3 times now just to sort of learn, and they're all over this, which is good news. Anybody else want to weigh in? I'm not hearing a lot of dissent.
So yeah, as you said, the IC committee can definitely help. And I think I agree with Roberto that some information is available. If you look at the Chiron data going back to whenever the data is presented, we have some idea of the problems. But I think this is a great learning exercise, and I think it's very important for any organization to learn from its mistakes. And I think if we go back, we may realize that maybe it's not just one mistake; it's a series of mistakes. And hopefully, we can present it to the council so these kinds of things don't happen again.
Yeah, I think that's all said. Anything else? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Yeah, go ahead, Cinda.
Yeah, I think you and I spoke a little bit about it earlier in the year, and I probably was pretty vocal with Chiron when they presented some of their information. I think they came back with a much better deck the second time around. And I assume that was because of my own sort of newness, so to speak, on the board. But I really think going deep into this subject is a beneficial exercise. And I support this. I'm not sure we will necessarily find a different answer. The answer might still be the city has to sort of cough up the contributions. But I think at least it could influence us in the future if that's not the case.
Yeah, well said. All right, I think I'm going to close off debate. I'm on the way to having another meeting end by noon, and by God, I'm not going to screw it up now. If you have any other comments, never mind. I was going to say send me an email, but that might break the rules. So we are good here. All right. So this part's going to go fast too. The service retirements. I'll call for a motion in a minute of Jared J. Nunez, Police Sergeant, Police Department, effective May 15th, 2021, with 28.5 years of service, and deferred vested John Tompkins, Police Officer, Police Department, effective May 15th, 2021, with 25.34 years of service. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move, Santos.
That's great. Do I have a second?
Second, Gardenier.
Great. Going around the room. Andrew.
Aye.
Sunita.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Eshvar.
Aye.
Dick.
Yes.
Vince.
Aye.
And this is Chair Lanza. I vote aye as well. We've only got one death notice, so I'll read this, and then we'll take a moment of silence. Notification of the death of Donald J. Moore, Police Sergeant, retired June 26th, 2010, died January 21st, 2021, with no survivorship benefits. We'll now have a moment of silence. That's great. Thanks, Owen. I don't know, Andrew, you and Dick are on the fire side. These guys are all on the police side. We don't have any police guys on the call. I don't know if either one of you want to say anything.
Chair Lanza, I knew Sergeant Jared Nunes. And of course, we wish all of them the best in their retirement, and we thank them for their service. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Dick. All right, on the home stretch. Investment Committee, over to you, Eshvar.
Yeah, so the last, we discussed a couple of the items which came before the board today, the private funding plan and the specific venture fund of funds investment. We also had a presentation on cryptocurrency, just as a learning exercise. That was it, I think.
The cryptocurrency presentation was super interesting. I learned a bunch I had no clue about. The guy was a good speaker. Any questions for Eshvar? Let me see. No, there's no action items. Hang on. Let me note that we've received and filed the minutes for the March 16th, 2021 meeting. Howard, anything to report on audit?
No, Chairman, we have a meeting coming up in 2 weeks for the next joint audit and risk committee.
Great. On the governance committee, I don't see anything, and Nick's not here. Roberto, nothing on governance, right?
That is correct. Hopefully the next meeting is June 17th.
Great. Dick, anything to report from disability?
Yeah, the only thing, Mr. Chair, is that the disability meeting for hearing for the May meeting has been canceled.
Great. Thanks, Dick. And let me note that we receive and file the minutes from February 8th and the fourth quarter dashboard for 2020. I know, Vince, your joint personnel committee, your last, and I was in that meeting. I know there's a bunch for you to do. Go ahead, Vince.
There's a lot for us to go through, but we will streamline it. We really have 2 items that are discussion and action relating to the approval of performance evaluations for both the CEO and CIO. There are some changes here. The Joint Personnel Committee met just recently. The meeting was last week. And by way of trying to make progress, we created an ad hoc committee to go through some of these items and then bring it back to the full committee, and it was approved. We actually have Tom with Cortex, who's going to walk us through these documents and at a high level, kind of point out the specific recommendations that we have, the changes that we're making, and how we'll evaluate this, and then the mock evaluation that we're going to go through. So Roberto, do we have Tom on the line with us?
Yes, we do. Tom?
I'll turn it over to Tom.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Vince. Hope everybody's well. So there are a few items. Two of them are policy revisions for board approval, and then we'll turn to the procedures, which are for information only. And I will begin with the CEO performance evaluation policy. And if I can share the screen. I hope everybody can see that.
Yes.
Okay, good. So the board approved this policy last year, I believe. In the meantime, the JPC has been working on developing procedures, and the approach that's being built into the procedures has some slight differences from the original policy. So I'd like to point those out to you. They necessitate some changes to the policy. They're not major, but let me just walk you through them. So if we begin with page 2, paragraph 6 and 7, the original policy which the board approved took the position that only the performance outcomes and related metrics would be assigned a numerical weight in the evaluation process, and that the management methods, and the board will recall that everything is evaluated on 2 dimensions, either a performance outcome or a management method. The policy took the position that the management methods and related metrics would not be assigned numerical weights, but would rather just be used to support discussions with the CEO about the management methods, about the CEO's management methods. The JPC, in developing the procedures, have decided to go in a slightly different direction and assign weight to both the outcomes and the management methods. So that would make the board policy incorrect. And to bring this policy in line with the direction that the JPC is taking with the procedures, we would simply need to delete paragraphs 6 and 7. So it's not a significant change, but we didn't want the policy to be offside. The other changes on the next page, paragraph 12, the original policy specified a 3-point rating scale that the board would use to evaluate the CEO's performance. In the JPC discussions, we decided to, instead of using that 3-point scale, we decided to use the same scale, I think it's a 4 or 5-point scale that the city is using, which is based on outstanding, commendable, et cetera, and use that scale to award individual personal compensation adjustments and additional executive leave days. And so again, that's going to necessitate a change to the policy. Rather than specify the new scale, we're simply going to say that the policy will simply say that some predefined scale will be used. For example, outstanding, commendable, et cetera. That way, if the JPC decides to change the scale in the future, we don't have to go back to the board and change this policy. Those are really the only 2 material changes to the CEO performance evaluation policy. I'll jump ahead to the summary diagram at the end of the policy. We made some minor changes in wording, but I just wanted to assure the board that the basic process is unchanged. The JPC hasn't really proposed anything that would affect this process. And since we're going to be talking about the procedure shortly, I think it might be useful to quickly review this for the benefit of the board, just to remind them. You'll see here on the right, during the course of the year, various data and information and surveys will be conducted, particularly in the month or 2 leading up to the board's closed session. And that would be investment performance data, audit reports, HR related data. Staff would complete a climate survey. The board would complete a management performance evaluation survey, and the CEO would complete a self-evaluation survey. based on all the same metrics that the board is using to evaluate the CEO. And all of that information gathered throughout the year, but again, primarily in the months leading up to the evaluation, would get compiled by the CEO into a draft preliminary report. And for the purposes of the mock evaluation, which we'll talk about later, Cortex will support the CEO in pulling all that information together and preparing that preliminary report. That report would then go to the designees, which in the case of the CEO are the chair and the vice chair of both boards, designees of the JPC. Those two individuals would finalize that preliminary report. And then that report, along with a worksheet, would go to each individual board member so they could prepare for the closed session. The closed session would be the opportunity for the board to review that preliminary report and arrive at initial ratings and feedback. The designees would then update the report based on all the input received from the board. There would be two separate closed sessions, one for federated, one for police and fire. And the two designees could reconcile any differences that the two boards come up with. The designees would then review the report with the CEO and the board would approve the final report. So the basic process is unchanged. And all of this is laid out. This same diagram is repeated in the procedures. So that's a refresher on the evaluation process. And there are a couple of edits, which I've discussed, the policy itself. And we can turn to the CIO performance evaluation policy because the edits are going to be identical. And if the board is comfortable, they could, and I'll flip to that very quickly.
Mr. Chairman, one question. Tom, hi.
Yes, yes,
on that last diagram that you showed,
sure.
The last page.
Yes.
There goes. In the first preliminary report level, will the designees have access to all the data input that you list on the right side of that page?
No,
or will they only have access to the draft preliminary report compiled by the CEO or CIO?
We didn't specify. They certainly should. Most of this report is data. Most of the data is information that the board would be getting, would have already received during the course of the year. So they were going to get the report. They could access the underlying data if they wanted to, certainly.
Well, in other words, will they have access to the staff climate survey, for example, directly? In other words, will all this material be back up to the draft preliminary report that is delivered to the designees?
The climate survey is going to be administered by the internal auditor. I'd have to check with him. I don't know what the current practice is in terms of whether or not the board has seen the underlying data in the past.
Okay, so just from an organizational standpoint, the only comment I want to make is that the way this is structured, the person being evaluated has the ability here to filter information that's on the input side and deliver only the filtered information to the designees. So I think it's important from a structural standpoint that if that's going to go through the person being evaluated, that the designees have access to all the information that is behind the draft preliminary report done by the person who's being evaluated.
Right, agreed. And they would, again, because all of this information is provided to the board in the course of the year already. And the survey data, we've indicated in the procedure that there are some checks and balances for independence. So the data would flow through the internal auditor, I believe. But we didn't specify explicitly that the designees can access any of the underlying data, and we could certainly do that.
And where does it say that this goes through the internal auditor?
When we come to the procedures.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And again, just as background, this was a real point of discussion throughout the process where the JPC, the challenge was not to overburden the CIO and the CEO with the task of pulling all this information together, or the designees. So they did want the CEO and CIO to sort of pull together the preliminary report, which would then go to the designees and just facilitate the process. So with that, are there any other questions around the policy edits being proposed? So, Mr. Chair, would this be approved? Could both policy edits, both policy documents be approved before we go into the procedures?
I think we should actually move on to the procedures because it's pretty robust, the details in there. And after we've gone through that, we can come back and approve these two documents.
Great. Thanks, Vince. Thanks, Tom. Hi, Tom.
I do. Okay, great. Thanks. So let me then turn to the first set of procedures. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now I wasn't planning on going through this in great detail, but again, this process is designed such that the board approves the policy and the JPC is authorized by the board to approve these procedures. So we're presenting these procedures to the board for information purposes. And there's a lot in this. There are a lot of steps, a lot of tools, a lot of surveys, et cetera. One thing I want to draw your attention to is that we'll provide an overview today, but I think we'd want to provide another overview in the fall, just before we do a mock evaluation, which is what we're proposing to do. And I think with that second review and then actually going through a mock evaluation, I think at that point, all of this will really become internalized by the board. At this point, I think it's a lot of information to really get our arms around. But in any case, these procedures specifically indicate that the board may conduct a mock evaluation in the fall of 2021. And in fact, we are planning on doing that. The JPC reviewed a work plan to get us there. And that closed board session is scheduled to occur in October. And again, before that time, we'll review these procedures one more time. But in terms of the understanding the procedures, I think it's useful probably to focus on the first few pages of this document. As I said earlier, in the policy, it specifies that the CEO is going to be evaluated on two broad dimensions: organizational outcomes and management methods. This table 1 sort of summarizes the organizational outcomes and the metrics that will be used to evaluate that part of the CEO's performance. And the board policy really only specifies the left-hand column. It states that there shall be 3 organizational outcomes used to evaluate the CEO: investment performance, benefit administration cost effectiveness, and member service. But it doesn't go into any further detail. The JPC took those and dove in to develop the underlying metrics and details and developed this second column, the metrics, the subweights, and the scoring scale. So you'll see under investment performance, the JPC is proposing that, or has approved in the procedures, that there will be 3 investment metrics or benchmarks: net fund performance versus the investable benchmark portfolio, performance of the private market portfolio versus an appropriate private market benchmark, which is still to be sort of specified, and then the total fund Sharpe ratio versus the comparable peer group. And the committee spent quite a bit of time thinking this through. We began with a single investment metric, but then expanded that to 3 metrics. And in the case of the CEO, this investment performance metric, these 3 metrics in total would have a weight of 10%. You'll see when we come to the CIO procedures that that weight will be 60%, much more. The overall weight, I should have mentioned, for organizational outcomes versus metrics is 60-40, which is why you see up here that in total, the organizational outcomes have a weight of 60%. Continuing under benefit administration cost effectiveness, the JPC landed on an administration cost per member metric, which would be on a 3-year rolling basis. That would have a weight of 5%. In the case of the CEO, it's not applicable to the CIO, you'll see. And then in the case of member service, there are a number of metrics. In total, they add up to about 45% for the CEO. They're broken out into benefit delivery metrics and member satisfaction metrics. And you can see that within benefit delivery, you've got timeliness metrics, timeliness of payments, and timeliness of pension notifications. You also then have timeliness of pension inceptions, and staff are already working to start collecting and measuring timeliness data to support this process. Under member satisfaction, the metrics are going to be threefold based on member satisfaction survey data collected through group count or at group counseling sessions, the ORS website, and the ORS member portal. So again, all of those metrics together total up to the 60% weight for organizational outcomes. That weight would be then rated by the board overall using this scale or metric, rating scale. And we'll turn to table 2, which looks at the management methods, which again will have a total weight of 40%. The individual metrics are not going to be given individual weights because there are just too many of them. Again, the board policy specifies what the broad categories of the management methods are, but the JPC has gone further to identify individual sub-metrics for each of these broad methods. And I won't go through all of them. And again, they are going to be rated with a weight of 40% using the same rating scale as we use for the outcomes. And then what do we do with all that? We developed this table, and the JPC decided to try to at least be consistent, generally consistent with what the city does, but to not be quite as constrained by the city structure as in the past. And I'll show you what I mean by that. For the organizational outcomes, the board would, as a result of the closed session discussions, land on an overall rating of those outcomes with a 60% weight, an overall weighting on the management methods with a 40% weight, and then apply this scale for awarding both the individual performance compensation adjustments and the additional executive leave days. These scales mirror almost exactly the city scales, except in this instance here in the outstanding category, whereas the city framework indicates that an outstanding score would be awarded a compensation adjustment of 3 to 5%. The JPC is suggesting changing that to greater than 3%, giving the board more discretion, more flexibility to consider the different circumstances that might have arisen, the magnitude of the outperformance, and possibly award more than 3%. Of course, they could also go lower than some of these other ratings which the city provides. But otherwise, it's generally consistent with the city structure or framework. Are there any, and I guess it's, if you may be wondering, it's going to be pretty straightforward if the board scores the CEO outstanding on the organizational outcomes and outstanding on the management methods, then you know your rating is fairly obvious. You're going to be in the greater than 3% for the compensation award, and you're going to be at 5 additional executive leave days. It's a little trickier if the CEO scores outstanding on the outcomes and satisfactory on the management methods. Then you get into sort of a bit of mental math in terms of weighting these different scores on a 60-40 basis to arrive at an award. But the JPC felt this was a more realistic, a more reasonable, and a more practical approach than trying to get too mathematical and getting too granular in the calculations. So I'll stop there. Are there any questions? Because this does capture the essence of the procedures.
Anybody got anything for Tom? Usual, thorough, great job, Tom. Vince, anything?
Because
No questions.
The balance of the document really consists of just considerable detail on each of these metrics, how we calculate the metrics, the process, who's involved, et cetera. And then there are a number of appendices which contain the actual surveys that we intend to use for the management survey, the the member satisfaction surveys, the website surveys, et cetera. So all of the actual survey instruments are contained in the appendices. Then we have the one appendix contains the worksheet, which would be given to board members, which they can use to prepare for the closed session meeting in October every year. And then there is a template in the appendix for the summary template, which the designees would use at the end of the process to sort of memorialize the results of the evaluation. So the balance of the procedures really contain all the details for calculating these metrics and the tools in the appendix to support the process. And again, a lot of detail. I wasn't going to go through it. Happy to answer any questions about the body and the appendices, but we would review this again just prior to the mock evaluation in the fall.
Thanks, Tom. What I would point out to the board here is that the review of the procedures is simply that. We're not asking for action. This is more information for the group. Really, it's the discussion and action on the CEO and CIO performance evaluation that we need board approval on. It's, as you can see, a very thorough and comprehensive process. We will be going through a mock process this year. It remains to be seen until we go through it, how smoothly this goes. And it's a significant departure from what we've done in the past in terms of gathering data. I know that Cortex will help us out with some of this, and some of the data will be gathered internally. But we now have a process. This does go to the heart of the work that was asked of us previously from the grand jury investigation and some of the recommendations that we received regarding establishing metrics to measure the performance of our leadership. So with that, I'm going to ask for a motion.
Do you want to make a motion, Vince?
Sure. I will make a motion to accept both item C and D, the recommendation for the proposed revisions for the CEO and CIO performance evaluation.
Do we have a second? Second by a motion by Sanzeri, second by Santos. We'll go around the room. Andrew had to step out. Sunita.
Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Eshvar.
Aye.
Jack.
Yes.
Vince.
Aye.
And I'm Chair Lands, I will aye. You know, I would add to what Vince found comments, you know, those of you that have been here for a while know we did measure G to take some degree of autonomy for our staff. Boy, Vince, I can't think of a better way to set the stage for the sort of the next act of Measure G than to show this level of commitment in how we review the performance of our top two positions.
Thanks, Drew. And thank you, Tom, for all the work and the committee as well.
You're very welcome.
I think we have to accept the minutes from the Joint Personnel Committee, which is item B, and that's all we have.
That's great. We thanks, Vince, for running. We accept the minutes from November 10th. That's it. Anybody want to jump in with anything? That was the last thing on our agenda. It's about noon, so we did good. Any public comments? Anything to add to the next agenda? Great. Everybody have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye, everybody. Thanks.